Hello, this is Paula from the Knitting Pipeline podcast. I'm going to demonstrate how to pick up some stitches here to close up this gap that you often get between the gusset of a sock and the instep. I learned this from the Little Box of Socks by Charlene Church some years ago, and I'm unknitting here, so just ignore that. I guess I don't need to, I'll just pull it out. I wanted to just also show how to pick up those stitches along the edge. So I have picked up my stitches along the gusset. We're about ready to have a thunderstorm, so if you hear some rumbling, that's what it is. So in picking up the gusset stitches, you have slipped that first stitch, and I pick up both legs of the slipped stitch, like so. Trying very hard to stay in the frame here. Then you come to this point where you often will get a hole, or you will get a hole if you don't do anything special here. The tendency is to pick up the running thread between the stitches, which is this blue one, and try to make a stitch out of that. But actually, a lot of times that just makes a worse hole, even if you twist it, because of the nature of it. So what I learned in the Little Box of Socks was that you find the running thread and the stitches attached to the running thread, and then you go to the stitches below the running thread and pick up the inside legs. So here's the running thread, okay, and then the stitches below the running thread are these two blue ones. This is why I chose this sock I'm working on, to show you that. So I'm going to pick those up. And you'll notice I didn't get them on there right. So now I'm going to make sure when I put them on the left needle that I orient them properly, which would be like that. And then I am going to knit those two together. Oops, it's sometimes a little tricky. Get in there and get them both and knit them together. And that will close up the hole. Now I have one extra stitch, and tighten it up of course. I have one extra stitch here on the gusset now, but that's no problem at all, because when you do your decreases, you'll just have one extra decrease to do. And I'll show you again. I'll come across here, but this is a useful technique also for sweaters or other things. When you're picking up your sleeve stitches, you come to the place between the underarm stitches and the body stitches, and you always have a hole there, which usually have some ends there as well, but you can do quite a lot with this technique to fix that so that you don't have such a big hole to close up. I'd say the main rule here is don't pick up the running thread and try to make a stitch out of that. Pick up a leg somewhere below, a leg or two of the stitches below, usually one from one piece of fabric, one directional piece of fabric, and one from another. Okay, now I'm at the other side here. This will be the side that you normally do in SSK. I don't think that's real important to match it, but I always do. Okay, so now in this example, that's not as easily seen because I have joined some things there, but the pink one here is the top running thread, okay? So then I'm going to go down to the next stitch below and pick up a leg, and then pick up the other inside leg. So remember, inside leg to inside leg is what you're going to get. And I'm going to use a new needle here, although probably wouldn't normally, but okay, I'm going to fix that one because it looked like it was on there wrong. And then I'm going to slip, slip, knit. Okay, pull it tight, and then you'll see, oh sorry, it's hard to keep this, there we go, it's in focus. Sorry if that was out of focus. Now I don't like the way that looks. I don't know, I think I'm going to, it looked a little twisted. Let's try it this way. You can always redo it. If you don't like it, hey, you're the master of your knitting. This is kind of typical that sometimes, there, I like the looks of that better. So, oops, try to get a focus for you. Sorry, I don't have the greatest setup here. All right, now for those who want to see that pickup again, and then I have one other little tip to show you. I'm knitting a cuff down sock, and here's the cuff. And because I changed yarns after the cuff, this is Dancing Dog Dye Works, by the way. There's the thunder. I have some ends here. So what I do then is I just poke the ends inside until I'm ready to weave in, and then flip the cuff up, and that captures those pretty nicely. So just another little tip that makes life simpler. Anytime you can make life simpler, it's great. Okay, now I'm going to pick up and show you again that I pick up. Now this, see, that would make another hole. If I picked up this one here, I'm pretty sure, because it's connected to that running stitch. So I'm going to go on and pick up the next one. And then I'll look at it and just make sure that everything is good there. The reason there's a looseness there is that I changed yarns. All right, that looks good. Now I'm going to skip that looseness and go to the next one. And then give this a little tug and make sure that it looks good. Yeah. There we go. All right, now go on. All right, that's pretty much it. I have a little issue here with trying to stay in the frame. There we go. So picking up both legs and work my way around. So I hope that helps. You're closing up the gap. These are often called pig's eyes by knitters, where you have the hole there. So you're closing up the pig's eye on your socks.